Knowledge, we see that as power, and it is. However, the way that we sometimes talk about knowledge and we're trying to connect with our audience can sometimes be very disconnected.
When you know too much, I think it can actually hold you back. You almost remove yourself so far away from the thing you're trying to do, the person you're trying to help.
Remember who you're talking to. Are you meeting them where they are? And I think that's a really good sort of place to start, isn't it?
But if your purpose is to educate and to get a movement going, if you will, well, the only way you're going to connect with somebody is to come at it from their level.
Simplify the message. Help someone identify really quickly whether you might be the right person to help them. Jodie Moorcroft. Oh my God, what sacrilege.
You look a bit like an 80s vibe today.
Oh, do I? In a good way?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, thanks. I've got a compliment. Anyway, today's episode, Curse of Knowledge.
Oh.
What's it all about?
What is it all about?
Well,
Alfie.
it's not about that. Knowledge, we see that as power, and it is. However, the way that we sometimes talk about knowledge and we're trying to connect with our audience can sometimes be very disconnected.
What knowledge are you referring to?
So I'm referring to the geeky, science-based knowledge that us force-free dog trainers have in abundance.
Ah, so you mean when somebody lands on my website and they go, oh, or rather what I used to have, hi, I'm Joe, I'm a science-based, force-free dog, did I have anything else? Positive reinforcement dog trainer.
Yeah.
I've done all these shiny badges. Here you go.
Yeah.
Insert loads there. And I will teach you how to. Do you know what? This isn't far off what my website was. I will teach you how to truly connect and build a relationship with your dog so you have a harmonious time together. God, it's just so.
Vom-worthy.
It's incredibly vom-worthy.
Why is
Did
it
you understand
vom-worthy?
anything of what I just said?
Yeah, but why is it vom-worthy? Because for a lot of you listening to that, you'll be like, yeah, what's wrong with that? Sounds amazing. Sounds very similar to what I've got.
In this day and age, I'd probably even put, are you a dog guardian?
A guardian, yes. Yes, a guardian. And again, nothing wrong with that because we know what you're talking. So if you're talking to another dog trainer, awesome. They're going to go, I totally get all of that stuff. If you're talking to Joe Public, I
Not
really
me.
want you to think hard about whether they are going to understand all of that stuff. Do they actually know what any of it means? And when you say building a harmonious relationship, why? Why do they care?
Yeah.
And that is the crux of it, right? So we want this episode to be, it's going to be brutal, but we want to take it right back, strip it back and go like, remember who you're talking to.
Yep.
And are you meeting them where they are? And I think that's a really good sort of place to start, isn't it?
Yeah, because as much as we know times are moving forward in the dog education world, so for those of us that enjoy going to CPD events, obsessing and learning over knowledge, myself included in
And
that.
you know, it's amazing. Every single time, like we exhibit at a lot of dog conferences now, and every time we hear these speakers, we are both blown away. And we are not belittling this knowledge in any way, shape or form. And we literally sit there going, I'm learning something new every single time.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It is so good. And I think we just have to be mindful that trying to then, like, if that information that you are absorbing is boggling your brain in all the best ways, well, someone who, and this is you who's voluntarily put yourself in that space to learn about it. So you've already got an element of geekiness. You've already got that element of this is a subject area I'm interested in. Your typical dog owner who still identifies as a dog owner in 2025 that I'm aware of, I remember when this dog guardian thing came out, actually, and I was thinking,
came out just
came
one
out.
day.
It's just like, well,
like a new film.
It just appears, doesn't it? And it's like, when did we start calling them dog guardians?
I think it's been a very gradual thing, actually.
Yeah, but it still would have there would have been a first pop out somewhere.
One person used it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, that's a bit good, isn't it? Let's just infiltrate everywhere else. Yeah. But it's not infiltrated. But it's not infiltrated the public yet.
No.
It'd be like me changing the word parent to a child guardian.
It would, wouldn't it?
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, yeah.
Where I feel like if you're a guardian of a child, that's maybe like, I don't know, maybe like you could be a guardian of my child if I made you a guardian.
It is, isn't it? It's a not real parent
yeah,
kind of thing, isn't it?
But I don't know. You know what I mean? It's a bit confusing. It's a bit weird. So already, if we're using language that isn't connecting with who you're talking to, then it's going to be really difficult. And I think there's a kickback I can imagine from all of you listening here would be, well, how am I supposed to differentiate myself then from those that effectively are balance trainers so that I can inform the people that want to work with me that I am, let's face it, these are the thoughts that used to run through my head. Well, I want them to know that I'm not going to hurt their dogs. I want them to know that there is a kind of more evidence-based way to do things. And actually, I heard something, might have been on another podcast with a similar topic about if you're using science-based on your writing, it's like, well, technically, aversion is science-based.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going a bit step too far, maybe, but it is technically science-based. There is science written about it.
Yeah.
But again, like we know in the False Read community, we know what we're trying to say, but that's because we live and breathe this stuff all the time. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're trying to get that message out to the public, to your audience that you want to buy from you, then is it going to land in the same way?
Yeah, and it's about, like, the overarching theme of this is simplify the message, help someone identify really quickly whether you might be the right person to help them. And if you're able to do that and detach, I know it's hard. I know you've worked really hard to get these qualifications and you've attended all these things and you're excited and absorbed with it all, but it really doesn't help the end user. Now, what we want you to look at this instead as, you don't always have to hold this information back, by the way, but you wouldn't just regurgitate all this information straight off. So you want to take someone on a journey. And if you, part of your way of working is you want to educate and you want to help the clients understand their dogs more and kind of be a bit more like you, that's something that takes a little bit of time. And it's not something that you can just do on a session or 2 sessions. It's something that you are going to guide them through. And it might be that they feel as geeky as you by the end of the journey. But if you start doing that at the beginning, they're going to check straight out. Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose if you liken it to a like a doctor's appointment or something, or if you've got something really serious and you need to speak to like a brain surgeon or a heart surgeon, and then they start telling you about all the stuff that, I don't know, like the intricacies of all the different valves and the neurons and stuff like that. And I'm like, what? I was like, can you just fix the fact that I've got headaches?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about all these different neurons firing and all the science behind that. And you're going to, effectively, how are you going to do it? But like, what? I don't need to know all of that stuff. It's like, I've got a problem. The problem is headaches, let's say. What are you going to do?
Yeah. And it's into the justification of the how we're going to do it so that you've got value in what it is that you're going to get from me. And I used to do it with canine massage. I'd qualified, it was blood, sweat and tears. I'd got my qualification and I was like, right then, I'm going to show these owners, because the owner's always with the dog when I was treating them. And I'm going to like show off my expertise and the terminology around it all.
I remember going through this with you.
And I remember people just looking around the room. Like, I'm good at reading like people, and still I'm carrying on going like all this stuff about myotherapy and circulatory system and muscular skeletal systems. And they're just like, what the fuck? Like, you can see them totally lost. But because I'm so passionate, that's where I can't see it. I can't recognise it like I would in normal everyday circumstances. And like, do they really need to know any of that stuff anyway? There's that argument to say in some cases, and probably in many cases with dog training anyway, and canine massage or anything like that, is like, do they really need to know the stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Do they really need to know the ins and outs, the minutiae stuff? Or are they just, we just need to get them doing the techniques and feeling comfortable and confident, and it gets them out of sticky situations. And that's about it.
Yeah. It's all the things like I remember leaning in on, and God, it's so cringeworthy when I look back over my dog training career. I remember when I think I couldn't tell you how long socks had been about, but they fell into my radar and I was like, ooh, very quickly became obsessed with everything that they were doing. And I think they were starting to talk a lot about the olfactory system. And I got very excited.
I love the olfactory system.
I got very excited about the olfactory system. And I remember going to clients and we was like, oh yeah, so the dog's olfactory system. And they were going,
the what?
What? And I'm like, oh, you know, because they've got a better olfactory system. That I couldn't stop saying it because I loved it.
Did you know a dog's nose has 30 million
Yes,
receptor cells?
all of this stuff.
Ours has got 5. It's rubbish. Do they care? No.
Yeah, I mean, impressive recall of knowledge there. But it's all of that stuff where we're like, is that helpful to anyone? And again, this is the challenge, I suppose, because...
actually, I'm going to correct myself. I think it's 300 million receptor cells. I was just thinking people are going to be listening to this going, that's totally incorrect. Like, I don't know. I'll have to check my facts afterwards.
Okay. I couldn't care less personally, but okay. I've lost my train of thought now. No, I haven't. It's back. So I think when we know we want to get this information and this education out to someone, it's finding a way that is going to relate to them. Mm-hmm. And this is why this episode is called The Curse of Knowledge, or something to that effect. Because when you know too much, I think it can actually hold you back.
Yes.
You almost remove yourself so far away from the thing you're trying to do, the person you're trying to help.
Yeah. And we get it. We've done it.
Yeah.
We are not judging here. We are literally have been through it, got the t-shirt and lived and realised that actually doing it this way is it's much more connective for your clients. And so we're just trying to give you our mistakes that we've made and help you recognise that if that seems like what you're doing at the moment, that it might be worth just stepping back, which is hard. It's a hard thing to do.
It's really hard. So actually I want to use the example. I think we've touched on this before with your example of the canine massage, because I'd been in the dog world for a fair while and I still had, when you came to me and you said, oh, I've just done this thing, I've just qualified, and I was like, I had no idea what it was you were talking about. Whereas weirdly, if you'd have come to me and it was, I don't know, like a dog behavioural thing, I'd have probably been as excited, and we probably wouldn't have seen that it was geeky that we were going out and why it wasn't selling. Yeah. So what did you call it originally?
God, I can't remember.
Was it just canine massage or something?
Well, it's myotherapy.
That was it.
Yeah.
So what could I buy? A myotherapy session?
Yeah. Yeah. 1 to 3 sessions.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm still sat there now going like, I still don't know what this means.
I remember you being really polite though and not saying that straight away. And I'm regurgitating all this stuff. And then you went, you know this thing that you're doing? Yeah. What actually does it mean? I was just like, what? You don't know? I just assumed that you knew. Mm-hmm. Assumptions, like mother of all fuck ups, as we always say. But yeah, I thought you'd know because you're a dog person. Why don't you know?
Mm-hmm. That's it. I still couldn't tell you what it is now. I was like, okay, so what does that actually do? And it was like several, I felt like hours, I suppose, at the time. I'm going like, how many iterations of that drilling down into what does it actually do?
Yeah, you really quizzed me on this.
Because I still didn't understand it.
Yeah, so you kept being like, so it's, yeah, okay, so it's massage, yeah. So what does that actually do? Well, it does, and I'll go into jargon and you go, okay, so I know you're saying it does this, but how, like, what's the actual point? I was just like, and it got to the point where I was just like, well, it basically alleviates pain. And you were like, that's what I wanted to hear. That's the word I was looking for. I can relate to that word and I understand what that means.
Yeah, because everything else in my head, I was like, I had conjured up like a spa.
Yeah, which a lot of people do.
Because I was like, oh, a massage, like for a dog.
Dog with its arms behind its back,
Yeah.
being fanned with grapes.
With grapes?
Being fed grapes. Not fanned with grapes.
It's like, pong, here you go.
Wouldn't be much of a fan.
Oh,
Fanned
dear Lord.
and fed grapes.
Okay, yeah. But but even that like canine massage, the picture it can conjure up going, oh, what's the point? Why does my dog need a massage?
Yeah.
I don't even get a massage.
No, I know. Yeah. Yeah.
So this curse of knowledge that we have, and I am going to be so bold as to say I do think this is a problem in our community of force-free trainers, because I think we consume that much knowledge.
Yeah.
That we, like we've mentioned before, like we end up moving, like we're so far removed from the actual client now because our knowledge is so great, which is obviously a good thing, but it's how can you dumb it down enough to attract people to come and buy from you so you can feed them that knowledge, not in a I'm going to choke you out with it kind of knowledge once you're in, but how can I get you in so that I can educate from within the parameters of working together so that you have a bigger impact.
Gauge how much that person wants to know, because there'll be people that are just not interested, and that doesn't mean they care any less, by the way. That just means they don't want to be a dog trainer and they're not interested in learning all the nuances. But there might be people that go like, oh, that's really interesting, can you help me understand that a little bit more? And then that's a bit of a license to go, right, they're wanting to know more, let's give them a little bit more, see how that's received and test it out. Like, and I think it's this thing of if they're not interested, they don't care. I think this is something that it's almost like an unwritten thing. Sometimes it's written, sometimes people blatantly like talk about their clients and say they don't care. But I think it's something that we get a feeling of. Is it a true feeling, or is it a feeling we're putting on them and putting on ourselves to think that they don't care? So I think that is a good thing for you to stop and think about as well.
Yeah, and it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I think it depends on how you are running your business as well. And the reason I say that is I've said this before, I will put my hand up straight away and say, I don't think I'm the best dog trainer in the world. I do not believe I have an incredible skill with dogs. I feel like I have really good people skills, which is why I focused my business more on that human side of it. Like I enjoyed essentially being a lecturer. If I think about it now, I enjoyed passing knowledge on to.
You still do.
All right. Is this a bad thing?
No, I didn't say it's a bad thing.
God.
Lecturer Moorcroft.
Just going to give you an evil look here. Can I finish?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. But knowing that I enjoyed essentially regurgitating knowledge to an owner, because I was like, this is important. Like, oh, I'm passionate about this. If you can get this right, then you can be a better human being. And at this point, I think I'd not long had Clay. So I was like, oh my God, like you really need to be a better human being, because now I've brought a small human being into the world and I want him to grow up in a world where people are kind. So it was big. I think hormones had a lot to do with this as well at the time. But I was like, no, I want to do all of this stuff. So knowing that I was still able to connect with an audience and still regurgitate the jargon, if you will, but I had the platform to be able to do it because of how we'd structured the programs. We've talked before about working with people longer term, but aside from my shitty blurb about I'm a positive force-free, reward-based, science-backed God dog trainer, here's all my stuff. Aside from that shit, I think the bit I did well was actually connecting those dots and saying like, do you want to understand your dog more? Because I realised I personally wasn't training the dog as such. I still did demos. I still did like your basic stuff. I could still work a lot of different cases. I took on a lot of reactivity and I liked those. But my favourite bit was actually that human side of it. But the fact that I was able to connect with that, aside from all my shitty gumph on the website, that's the bit that's important. And you can still you can still do that regurgitation of knowledge, but without choking somebody out.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I've just got regurgitation in my head.
Okay.
What a word to pick.
Well, you are, like, you just spew it back out at someone, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm sure there's another word that would be more suitable.
Okay.
Regurgitate.
I feel like it's a fine
Sounds
word.
vommy, doesn't it?
Well, it is a bit vommy, but I feel like it's an okay word.
You're chuckling, Ryan, in the background. Yeah. No.
Little sniggers.
Yeah, little sniggers. Yeah, I think it's a lot of this is done unintentionally. I think in the most part it's done unintentionally. Like we have no idea that we're doing it.
No.
The further in you get and the further qualified you get, it's a blessing and a curse, hence like the episode name, because it's great, you know all the stuff. I think this might tip into what we've kind of had conversations around before with the imposter syndrome thing. And I think it's worth mentioning that on this episode.
No, I agree.
Because the imposter syndrome that we see a lot isn't because you don't know enough dog knowledge stuff. It's because you know too much and you don't know enough business stuff to be able to implement it. So we're getting all this knowledge, we have it in our heads, we try our best to get it out to the world, we're using completely off language that people are not connecting with. We think it all doesn't work. We don't know how to do it in a way whereby it will resonate and it will connect. And then we think, we don't know enough, we need to learn more. So I think it's this cycle of where does the actual imposter syndrome come from? Like, and I think it's worth, again, another exercise you can do, I think, off the back of this episode is sit with that. And there might be times where you actually do need more dog knowledge. If you want to become the expert in aggression, you might want to consume everything Michael Shikashio does, for example. And that's great because that's going in that right direction. But if you're a dog aggression expert and then you were absorbing yourself in all sorts of other topics that are not related to it and aren't going to move you forward in the business, then why are we doing that? And is it from other professionals? Are we comparing ourselves to other professionals? Or do we just have no clue how to actually market ourselves or be strategic in the business and get that message out to the world?
Yeah. Should we be brave and make our other bold claim?
Oh, go on. What's the bold claim?
And I feel like I can say this from my personal experience anyway. I think being the type of trainer that I am and getting into the industry by consuming knowledge and doing accreditations online and learning and then going down the academic route and like doing the university and all of that, little to no hands-on experience.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So if you kind of put yourself in that category of science-backed, force spirit, whatever you want to call yourself, our bold claim is actually a lot of that imposter syndrome could, in my case, definitely be down to I haven't got enough hands-on dogs hours from a learning perspective. Got hands-on learning hours that I created myself. So there's a load of clients that, you know, I'm sure we could all relate to this, that when I first started, I was like, fucking hell, like I knew nothing and I'm exchanging, even in my early days of doing it, even when I was asking for like a tenner, because that was the thing that you were told to do, I'll just ask somebody for like pay your petrol money or something, pay your fuel and go and practice. I'm like, it's a bit of shit really, isn't it? But we all do it. We all have to start somewhere.
Because you're using your clients as guinea pigs, basically, for you to get more knowledge.
And, you know, in the grand scheme of things, if it's transparent and the client's okay with it, but ultimately, regardless, you are still in a position of power because you are going in as the expert, albeit a trainee expert, but you've still gone in with more knowledge than the owner in this scenario.
You are the expert in the room.
So, therefore, and some of the stuff I spouted early days because I didn't know any better.
But at least if it's not detrimental to, you're not going to make anything worse, are you?
Well, you'd like to think not, but you never know, do you?
Yeah.
You never know how someone's going to interpret anything. And actually, that could be said even when, like, take me 11 years on now, I'm pretty good at being in that dog training arena. Like I said, I'm not the best dog trainer in the world, but I can hold my own. I can help pet dog households. but it's still going to be difficult to fully understand how that person's going to interpret the knowledge that you're sharing. Because everything's a bit subjective depending on how it's landed, depending on how that person learns, how long you're working with them for, all of that stuff. So yeah, I think that bold claim back to the imposter syndrome bit is, well, actually, are we getting enough from a being a force-free dog trainer? Am I actually having enough hands-on experience? Which is actually why I might be leaning more heavy on the shitty gump stuff on my website of this is how I train. Don't know. Just my thought on it, my view.
It could be related. I don't know. I'm not sure I put a lot of gumpy stuff on. I did, but I don't think I did it in that kind of justification way, because I said to you the other day, I don't think I've got a huge amount of theory-based knowledge. Like I have over the years, but I've got way more hands-on experience than I've got that theory knowledge. So I could feel imposter syndrome in a geeky sense, you know, like people are talking about all these fancy words to do with dog behavior and stuff, and I might be a little bit lost on it. Like I know the stuff now, but back then I might have gone like, oh fucking hell, just give me a dog and I can train it and I can do it and I can understand it and I can try and.
I mean, you don't know I'm going to totally butcher his name now. Tim Bergen. 4 questions.
4 questions.
Yeah, we had to do it at uni. I was like, oh
yeah. So that's why for me, something like a university degree, absolutely not. I'm not an academic person like that at all. That's why I struggled with my level 4 diploma for canine massage, because I was like, oh my God, I can do the thing. Just give me the dog and I can do the thing. But like all of this other stuff, textbook heavy stuff, like that is not, it does not come easily to me at all. No. Same with the dog training. I just kind of went, do I actually really need to know this stuff? Or can you just give me a dog and I can do what I can do and transform it?
It's weird, isn't it, how like this knowledge thing shows up in different ways. So I remember at uni in year 1, so what's that? Level 4? Yeah, level 4 is year 1 of uni, isn't it? Yeah. So confusing. I kept calling it year 1 and they're like, no. I was like, what is it then? Anyway, there was a business module and I managed to A-Pel it, which essentially meant, because I've done a marketing degree, which I didn't realise I'd done a marketing degree. I'd forgot.
Oh, really?
I'd forgot I'd done it because I did it at night school whilst studying hairdressing as well.
Hey? How to market your hairdressing?
No, I fucking hated hairdressing. My brain was thinking, how can I make money at home?
Right.
But anyway, so I didn't have to do the business module because I've already done it. So I was able to submit some paperwork and say, I've already done it, so do I need to do it? And I was listening to all the other students, but they got me in as a guest lecturer for one of the
I do remember
the lessons. And it baffled me because the lecturers that they had in teaching the modules have never ran a business. So they're now teaching business, which actually I think is an incredibly common thing throughout all education setting providers. They're teaching something that they've never actually had to do. And I was there going, but how does that actually work? And they're like, oh, well, you know, because the textbook says to do X, Y, Z. I'm like, but that doesn't work in real life. So the principle's there, the theory's there, but you'd need to bend and flex and do this because this is more likely what's going to happen. And I remember my sister saying to me within the last 3 years, I lose track of time, that her school had given her a business module to teach. And I'm like, what? What? How? What? She's never studied it. She never taught it before. Her degree's in like health and social care or something, which, by the way, what even is that? I still don't know now. And all this other stuff. And I'm like, Cal, what the hell have you got to give somebody about business? And she's like, I've just got to study the modules over the 6 weeks
just
holiday.
A memory thing.
I'm like, what? But to me, this is that curse of knowledge thing where I'm like, well, okay, so now, in my sister's scenario, she's now consumed some knowledge over a very short period of time and is now teaching classes of 30 students business, having never ran a business, never been in it, never had to think about it.
And that's probably all the business knowledge they're going to get in their whole life.
Yep.
And then if they run a business, this is exactly the problems we're finding. Trying your hardest to do it, having no clue, having no strategy, poof, like it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
And then that doesn't work.
Yeah. So it's like, well, what are we consuming? And then more importantly, like, what are we doing with it? Where's the implementation? Where's the practice? Where's the learnings?
You better not bother at all. You're better off not bothering at all, aren't you, to include anything?
It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
Do you know what? I say these things out loud and then I just like reinforce myself that I'm like, I'm so glad my kids are in the woods.
I tell you what, why don't, this is a good time to talk about the example that you were talking about earlier with our previous guest that we had on, about Clay's real life experience versus the textbook.
Thing. Yes. So my niece, who is my sister's daughter, the teacher, she and Clay we were gone walking around the streets and stuff. We was on our way to the park. And I asked B, I was like, oh, how are you getting on at school, B? And she's like, yeah, really good. And I was like, oh, brilliant. What are you learning at the moment? She's like, we're learning about the seasons. I was like, oh, what about the seasons? What are you learning? She's like, well, we were looking at a book the other day on how the leaves turn different colours. And then we need to do an experiment with a sock or something to see what happens when the wind blows. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm genuinely interested. I was like, oh, that's really nice. And Clay, typical 5-year-old, turned around and was like, B, like, and I'm paraphrasing, it wasn't exactly like this, but it was essentially like, what do you mean? Like, you've seen a leaf in a book? Is like, there's a leaf in the tree. Like, we see them all the time. And he's like, Mummy, is the seasons like why at the woods where they go and hang out and when we're just out and about, like why all the trees suddenly look like different colours and it gets a little bit colder? I was like, yes, pretty much. That's the season changing into autumn. And he's like, so the stuff we do every day? I was like, yeah, pretty much. Earl. Sorry, not sorry. And I was like, okay. And he was like, so the wind with the sock, is that just
wind?
When my hair blows? Like, yeah, your hair could be a sock.
Could have said like the washing on the line or
what? Well, yeah, he said it.
Wow.
So yeah. Again,
and I think that's a good example of like the learning in a textbook versus the real life version of it, and which are you going to absorb the most, and which is going to mean the most, and which you're going to be able to relate to the most. Mm-hmm. I don't know. This is the.
It is. It's all fascinating because I actually think, because I quite like studying. I do really enjoy the academic side of it, which surprises even me. I love geeking out on knowledge.
I think for me, it's the retention part. And I think that paired with actually doing it, putting that you're learning theoretically into practice, into actual physical practice of hands-on stuff. I get that. It's when you're learning loads of stuff and you're not doing it and it goes in one ear and out the other, because to me, it doesn't mean anything. It's nothing tangible. Yeah. And I think that's what I struggle with. So I'm all for learning if you are pairing it with the right kind of hands-on practical knowledge for dogs. And my opinion, and again, like this might not be a popular opinion, is that you can't just do that one thing without the other. And arguably you can't do the practical without the theory. But I think as long as you've got a baseline of that theory and you have just a basic understanding of it, how deep do you really need to go? And I know this is not what this podcast is about, but I think it's a good time to discuss this because I do think we get in our own heads about everything. And again, it comes back to that judgment of other people and other trainers and other dog professionals.
Wow, I'm glad you said that because I was going to try and bring it into this topic of this whole knowledge thing. It's like, who are you actually marketing to? I will still stand by, I haven't got the exact figures, I've not done a survey, I don't know, but I would say a high percentage of dog professionals are more bothered about what their peers, colleagues, competitors, they're all the same. They care more about those than they do the actual audience that are going to buy from them and those that you actually have the ability to help. So in order to get this incredible knowledge out to the public so they do start thinking about things differently, and and if you want to be as bolshy to say, well, I don't want them working with that aversive or compulsion trainer. I want them to be doing things, air quote, the right way. Well, you have to be able to connect with your audience then, because one thing I will say for the balance community, if we're going to segregate people, they do have this incredible ability to do that connecting piece with the audience because it's simple.
Again, it comes back to simplicity and streamlining and not we're overwhelming people without realising. We're overcomplicating it in our own brains, let alone for the potential clients that are coming on board.
Yeah.
It's not necessary.
Yeah. I don't even know why I was doing this the other day, but I was on the TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
The TikTok.
I try not to be on there. Try not to spend
Ryan's
too much
giving
time.
me like such a dirty look. He's like, the TikTok. I was like, yes.
He's a young whippersnapper compared to
how I
us,
feel
isn't it?
about the TikTok. Anywho, Loodle. On the TikTok. And I was searching for, I don't even know what I was searching for. But essentially and I still don't fully understand TikTok. Don't really understand the search functionality on it. But it came up in like a little grid of thumbnails, if you will. And it was like positive reinforcement dog trainer. I was like, what? Whereas if I just put in like dog trainer, Southend came up, which I would expect.
Yeah.
Who else came up?
Yorkshire Canine Academy?
No, they didn't actually. Not on TikTok anyway. I think they were.
Caesar?
No, it wasn't any of I can't even bloody well think who it was now. But anyway, it didn't surprise me that those in the identify as balance trainers. Who do you identify as?
A wheelie bin.
A wheelie bin. Mr. Broccoli. Story for another day. Yeah, it didn't surprise me that actually those accounts came up higher because of the simplicity of it. And even I was like, oh, I'm more interested in looking at the positive reinforcement ones because for my brain, for whatever it was that I was doing, which I genuinely cannot remember, like serious brain fog, I was looking for those accounts. And so it was easy for me to identify because I'm like, oh, brilliant. I know exactly who I want to talk with, which you could say they've done the right thing then. But actually, am I their ideal audience? Because if they're a dog trainer, well, I'm not buying your services as a dog trainer.
Mm.
That's it. I was looking for people that we could possibly reach out to either be podcast guests or for us to go on their accounts. So for me, it was really helpful, but I don't think that we are their target audience. So actually, how helpful is it?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of.
Felt like a little bit of a shit story now I finished it.
You built that up to be something more than it was. No, but I think leaning in on that dog Southend, right? If you love or hate him.
Hold on, I feel like I need to interject here.
What?
Was there a programme or a podcast or something with unpopular opinion?
Yes. Greg James.
Yes, that's it. We need to add it in. I feel like we've got a lot of unpopular opinions on this one.
Come and give us your unpopular opinion. Something up till now that you've been scared to say.
Look at the way, when you watch those dog training videos, that little snippets of him training a dog and talking to the owners, do you see any jargon? You might not like what he's saying. I don't like what he's saying. Don't, It's about how he communicates and how he's describing the behaviour. That to me is something to take note of and just go forget the actual training method here. Just look at how he's doing that, keeping it simple, not overcomplicating it, says how it is, swears a bit, he's a cockney, all the stuff, right?
Yeah.
You might not like any of that either, but there are some people that really like it. Same with us. We swear, we do we're straight talking. Some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah.
But a big aim of ours is we don't want to overcomplicate business in exactly the same way, because if we start doing that, you guys are turned off from it. So I do sometimes, because now we know a lot more about this business stuff, I do try and catch myself, because I do hear even the word messaging. I'm aware that some people don't know what that is.
That's true.
So I do try and catch myself and say messaging when it's related to the message you're trying to put out and the people you're trying to talk to. And I do try and think
it's hard.
We're now absorbed in this and it's normal for us. And this language is just so second nature that even leads, right? I'm talking about leads marketing, not leads on a dog here, but leads, like I was like, leads, pipelines, what are all these things? Like I didn't used to know what they were. So if we're using that kind of language with you, with listeners of this podcast, or to our clients who haven't gone on the journey yet with us and don't know what those things are, we've lost them at the first hurdle.
Yeah.
So I think this is where it's really hard for a lot of you out there. I know it's going to be hard for you to go. If I said to you, go and watch Southend, go and watch Yorkshire Canine Academy. And I know a lot of you out there like watching Jacob from Yorkshire Canine.
You can't knock it. I was going to say, you actually can't knock it.
Actually quite good looking as well, I will say. And yeah, it's that kind of entertaining. Social media is using it in a way whereby that's what it's intended to do. Simplify, entertaining, social, engaging, all of those things. So if you can take what you like from those kind of people and try your best to just not get involved in all the stuff you don't like.
Put your ego to one side.
Yeah, literally just go like, we know you don't like the way they do that stuff, but look at the stuff they do well. Try and spin it and go like, we could take that and we could use that in our business. And that's something to learn from, not just go, they're shit, don't agree with them, how are they so big and earning so much money and all this stuff we have in our heads.
Yeah.
You could do the same. You could be absolutely doing the same.
And this is where we have to be mindful that we all have a choice in this. Like we have a choice that if it is genuinely our mission to get as much positive dog knowledge out there to everybody, well, what's the best way to do it? Sit and bitch and moan and not do anything, and then moan that we haven't got clients coming in and all this, that and the other. Or actually step outside of our comfort zone, put ourselves out there a little bit more, connect on a human to human level, and put the ego to one side. And that is really, it's a lot easier said than done. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of us may even feel initially defensive and offended by, I haven't got an ego. I'm not, sorry, but you do.
We've all got them.
We all have them. And it's just being aware of it. Like it is human nature. Of course you are going to have an ego. It is not a bad thing. It's just being aware of it to go, oh, well, okay, I do have all of this knowledge and it may pain me to dumb it down for someone because why should I have to? Mm-hmm. But if your purpose is to educate and to get a movement going, if you will, well, the only way you're going to connect with somebody is to come at it from their level. It's like me trying to talk to my sister or anybody about my reasoning for home education. If I go in and be all like, rah, 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 you're wrong, here's all the evidence that suggests that school systems are shit and rah, 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 I'm like, I'm not going to get anywhere. So I have to just go, okay, I have to change my approach to have conversations with people that I may not agree with. But if I want somebody to, I don't even really want anybody to see it from my perspective. I'm just like, I'll have a conversation if you want it. And if you don't, I'm good.
But also you do really well in just talking about the benefits of it and just going like, I see this real benefit in home educating versus the school system, rather than you saying it's all shit. You're going like, I actually find that my kids can actually speak like adults and communicate really well and have life skills that I don't see other kids often have. Like those are the ways that you're kind of looking at it and helping somebody go, oh yeah, they're really good points actually. I hadn't really thought about it like that. You know, so that's the kind of key difference, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Don't realise I'm doing it.
Yeah, you do. You do that. You don't. You just talk about like what you're seeing day to day and the changes that you're seeing within the kids and that they're really great qualities that you're bringing out in them, or the whole approach brings out in them. And that for me is intrigue and like, oh, I'd like to learn, because the amount of people you've told and people are like, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Or, oh, that's something I've always wanted to like look into but never have. Like you've really piqued my interest in it and they want to start a conversation about it. And that for me is like, I find that really fascinating because I don't know how I would have approached that. I'd hope it would be the same kind of way, but there's always going to be that like defensive nature of going like, you're criticising my opinion and my approach to something when I don't criticise your approach. Like, so there might be that kind of get you back up kind of thing, but I don't see that in you at all with it. So
yeah, it is. And actually, do you know what I'm going to say? This is probably where I found that sweet spot in terms of knowledge. I know just enough to have made the decision, but I've not taken it to the extreme where I've consumed and consumed and consumed like I did in the dog world, where I've consumed and consumed and consumed and I love it and I keep going. I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. This is fascinating. Now you challenge me on it. And now I'm like, well, hold on. No, you're a twat. Why are you going to them? Wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So it's almost like I've hit that sweet spot with that home education to go, I know just enough to feel like really solid and stable in my decision. And I've not taken it any further. I dip in and out of consuming more knowledge as we go, but not enough to go, got my back up now because I know more than you.
Yeah, but it's that link to that judgment bit as well, isn't it? Because even if you are a dog trainer that knows that someone, let's say a scenario, someone's worked with you and then they've gone and worked with someone from the dark side. And you instantly might think they don't care. How dare they go to that sort of person? How dare they treat their dogs like that? How dare, right? And judge. But actually, what if, and again, whatever the circumstances were, they didn't get the result with you and they looked into other avenues, and that avenue, that option looked like a better outcome or result, or possible like outcome or result. Why are we judging that? You know,
and unpopular opinion. I need to get the actual jingle in my head.
Ryan, can you get the jingle, please? No, but I'm just like, I want to put that out there as well, because why can't we be grown up enough to actually look at it like that? Instead of going, oh, I can't believe they've gone and done that. I can't believe people are out there taking people's money, treating dogs like that. Yeah, okay, I get it. Like I don't want that. I honestly put my hands up, I don't want that either. But what good is that going to do if I just slate that client? Maybe I just look at it from their perspective and go like, why do they feel they've needed to do that then? Mm-hmm. Like, what's missing there, or what else do they need, or what? And again, learn from it and go like, maybe there was something that I could have done there, or maybe the way my service is structured didn't give them enough support. Maybe I just had a one-off session with them and that wasn't enough. There could be a number of things, and it's not you as a person or you as your ability. Could just be the way things are set up.
Yeah. Oh my God, you could take this so deep, like even just on a psychological level, because if that person has grown up in an environment where maybe punishment worked, you know, like
learning history.
We were children of, not necessarily with our parents, but of that generation where you could still smack a child, and not get reported to social services.
I got smacked. Like I did. It was the thing in the early 80s.
It's just it happens. Yeah. Nowadays, it's like I'd be mortified. Like if I heard that a parent had been smacking a child, mortified. But it's, you know, it's this psychological bit of each person has got their own experiences of life, their own learnings, and I think I heard this on a Stephen Bartlett podcast, and it was just a really profound message of, if you were that person that you are now judging and you had their life, their experiences, their learnings, would you be doing what they're doing now, or would you be doing what you're trying to do? And reality is you don't know the answer because you've not lived their life, you haven't lived their learnings, and you've not learned what they're or whatever I just said. But
it's an impossible task because you can't ever know.
Yeah. But it's like, well, if I had, maybe even if you look at it like from a business perspective then, so you could say, well, if I had the same opportunities as that business owner, or maybe even life, if I had the same opportunities as that person, if I had the amount of money in my bank account that they had, if I had a stable family home life, for example, and I didn't come from a broken family, and if I lived in an affluent area, would I be doing XYZ versus what I'm doing now?
Yeah.
Well, possibly, because your circumstances are different.
Yeah.
So
and it's almost like, strip it back to like, you compare yourself to, we were talking about like, a procedure that we want done. Sounds really dodgy when I say it like that. We call it fish eyes. Don't really know the name of it. Polyonucleotides. injection thing, which is kind of the Botox, right? So we were having a quick chat about this beforehand. And you could look at your celebrity icon and go like, oh, they always look so brilliant. Look at them. Well, if you had their money, if you had their personal trainer, if you had their access to hair and makeup and all this stuff, like you might look like that, but we haven't. And therefore, why are we comparing apples and pears together?
Yeah.
Like it's not the same.
Right. You can only do what you can do with the knowledge that you have, with the money that you've got, with the personality type that you've got as well. Like that plays a massive part in everything. With the peers you hang around with the social media you consume, with the TV that you watch. All of this infiltrates your brain every single day. Osmosis.
I haven't used osmosis for a
I feel like that needs an echo on it.
Osmosis.
Ryan, have you got headphones on? Is it a bit weird?
Do you know what? This episode is not ended where I thought it would.
I don't know where the hell it was going, but I've enjoyed it.
I think there's more to pick out of this episode.
There always is.
Deep dive further.
Nobody came back to us if they wanted like a marathon episode, so I feel like we're just going to do it.
What, now?
No, not now.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, my stomach's growling.
I think Ryan wants his lunch.
I want my lunch.
Right, on that note of osmosis to finish.
Go consume more knowledge.
Yeah. What do we want people to do off the back of this episode, Jo?
I want you to, if you're not already in our Facebook group, I want you to go and hop in it.
How do they hop in it?
Go and search. What do you search? K9 Business Academy Community.
No.
Yes.
CBA community.
Oh.
And also there'll be a link in the show notes.
Hopefully. No, there is a link in the show notes.
Go click the link in the show notes. So get in the Facebook group, talk to us. You can engage with us in that Facebook group. You can ask us questions. You can ask for help.
Yeah, like it. Do that.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Toodles.